Do you want blissful balance in your personal and professional life? Great. What's up, guys? My name is Cary and I want to help you happy hustle a life you love, one full of passion, purpose, and positive impact. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur, a professional model / actor, a digital marketing specialist, a podcast host, author, a biohacker, an eco warrior, a martial artist, a hippie cowboy, and a humanitarian. My goal is to educate, inspire, and entertain you to live a life of passion, purpose, and positive impact. It is time to happy hustle your dream reality.
So today's going to be a great show. We're going to start off with the one and only Mr. Cary Jack. He's known as the Happy Hustler, which if that wasn't taken, when I was growing up, there was a book called The Happy Hooker. I think they're not the same thing, right?
Different. Yeah. Same, but different.
Same, but different. They're both happy. And that's it.
Right.
Always have. What inspired a Happy Hustler? Tell me about it.
Well, first, I was not happy hustling. I was just hustling. So it sent me on this path of figuring out a better way to work and live in alignment. I actually burnt out as a tech entrepreneur in New York City, if you can believe it. I was wearing the old fancy suit and tie and grinding my face off, working 100+ hour weeks, getting roughly 5 hours of sleep, all for profit, success, ego, a lot of the status drivers that society deems important. And I burnt out, Forbes. I done burnt out. And
What did that look like for you? Because I've lived 10 years in Manhattan. Where were you living?
I was in Queens, Sunnyside, sharing a king size bed with my brother and business partner and best friend, all the same person. His name's Grant.
Doesn't it seem like you're supposed to go through that just to get where we've sold ourselves such a bill of goods, right?
It's so true. It feels like this prerequisite for success, but it really isn't. But yeah, I bought into it.
I don't know if it isn't. That's like saying failure is a prerequisite for success, and I think it's true.
I think failure is. I don't think burnout is.
No, but it's good that you noticed it. What were the
Right.
signs for you that you were done?
Well, I realized I sacrificed everything: faith, family, fitness, fun, all the F's,
Oh, the F word, yeah.
Yeah, all of them for this, grandiose idea of being a tech founder and having this massive exit. And yeah, I just was so unhappy and unfulfilled. And that was really some of the key signs that, showed themselves.
Cary, so you decided after burnout to create Happy Hustler. What does it mean?
So we define happy hustling as the systematic harmonization of ambition and well-being. Okay, so basically crushing it personally and professionally, not just one or the other. And yeah, that's really what it's all about.
Well, how do you do that?
So, shameless plug, in my book, I believe you got a copy, but we talk all about how to do just that. And it's really based on the soul mapping system, our 10 alignments to be a happy hustler. Again, shameless plug. We actually just hit number 39 on the USA Today bestseller list with this bad boy last month. So very proud of it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So basically there's 10 different areas of life to focus on. We call them the 10 alignments. And that's actually how you systematically harmonize ambition and well-being.
And this came out. So was this like a download after you had your meltdown? You're like, all right, I got to go do something else. Where are you living right now, by the way?
I'm in Bozeman, Montana. Yep.
That's definitely a far cry from New York City. Okay, I get that.
Yeah, very, very true. More nature, less people. That's my vibe.
Was there a time, so you had this burnout, what did you do immediately? Because I have so many people who get to that stage, they don't know where to turn or what to do.
I flew to Bangkok, Thailand, and lived there for a year. That's what I did.
Well, all right. So for some of us who've got families, dogs, and plants and can't do that, what would you recommend so actually, I've not been to Thailand. What was that like?
Oh, Thailand's epic. Yeah, they call it the land of the smiles. People are so friendly. But really, it was just a reset. And I realized, one, you can put the happy in your hustle abroad, and you don't need anything but an internet connection these days to make money and impact online. But two, that I was striving for all this material success. And quite frankly, when I had a lot of it, it wasn't fulfilling. So it was this breakthrough for me, going to Thailand, living abroad, working and living quote unquote in alignment with more of a true calling and true purpose. And yeah, I just took some of my own medicine. I started to reflect on, okay, well, what are the key areas of life that actually bring me joy and that are quote unquote a balanced existence? And I know balance gets a bad rap, but I truly believe balance equals happiness. And yeah, I'll put that on my tombstone.
There you go. Balance equals happiness. It's a funny thing, though. People always talk about balance, and I don't know. You're always on one side or the other, and I try to not stress about the fact that it's not always the way you want it. For example, I was building a company when I have two little kids, and it required pre-COVID to travel a lot. And one morning, I'm on the phone, and my 8-year-old says to me, "Mommy, do you still love me?" Oh my
Mm,
God, knife through the heart. It's like, oh wow. But I have these crazy philosophies, kind of like you've created your own, where all the other moms are on their cell phone going, oh honey, I'll be home and I love you, and you know, blah, 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 all this whiny shit, and I'll bring you presents, which I've never done. The goal when I came home, very specifically, was not that I brought you something, I brought you me. And
mm,
I set those ground rules. And I said to McKenna, did the sun come up today? And she's like, yeah, mommy, it came up. I said, great. Every morning that the sun comes up, just know that I love you.
mm.
And the next morning, he was like, hey, mom, love you too. The sun is up and shining, and so am I. And it's like we set and we reframed how to talk to each other, because I think one of the things that you realized is that we've set out a lot of paradigms for ourselves that aren't fulfilling. And I don't know quite why that is. I pulled in yesterday to a massage place that I love, and there was a Rolls Royce in front of me. And I had that moment of going, huh, wonder what that person does for a living.
Mm.
Wonder what it feels like to be so ostentatious that you want to drive a car that's more than most people's homes
Mm.
in Los Angeles, where you can get bumped and and I had this whole thing because I saw that thing, Rolls Royce.
Yep.
Makes sense, right? That we all do this, don't we?
Yeah. Well, I actually call it the more disease. People constantly crave more money, cars, followers, likes, clients, all this stuff. And, Dan Sullivan from Strategic Coach, he has a great way to frame it where if you're constantly seeking more and you are comparing yourself against this idyllic goalpost that's constantly moving, you're going to live in unfulfillment and despair and lack. But if you rather measure yourself backwards against how far you've come, and you find gratitude for what you do have,
Right.
you'll be joyous and in a state of more happiness. And so it was a great reframe for me when I see people with that stuff and constantly craving more. I just remind myself not to compare and despair, and oftentimes just to compare myself, if anything, to me yesterday and constantly improving.
Yeah, I'm pretty blessed that I don't compare myself to others, just things that I do want to, and mostly it's about achievements. And
Mm.
you get to a certain point in your life and you're like, you want to achieve a legacy. You want to go, what am I leaving behind? Do you have kids now?
I have a 1-year-old son. Yes. His
Well,
name's
congratulations.
Kaizen.
Now, did
Yeah.
you meet your wife in Thailand or here or where?
No, I met her actually. I was promo modeling in West Palm Beach, Florida at the time. She was wearing a stunning gown, and I was holding shoes on a platter for wealthy women, and I was just that guy offering up these shoes, and
I've
I
been to
offered
that
her.
kind of a party. Yes, yeah,
It was at the Breakers Palm Beach. You probably know it. So
sure.
yeah, it's quite high end, and so I offered her some of my shoes on a platter. She kindly declined, but we hit it off from there.
Oh, that's precious. I love that. How long ago was that?
9 years.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Apologies for interrupting your programming, but I have to tell you the best investment you can make in yourself is one in which helps you acquire skills. You've probably heard people talk about, oh, just invest in yourself and you'll be successful. Yes, that's true to a degree, but you have to invest in skills that will ultimately help you achieve your desired results. And I think one of the best skills one can possess, be it an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, is the sales sword. Really knowing how to sell, utilizing pressure free persuasion, which will make you more money and more impact. Now, if you want to know how to sell more efficiently and effectively, I just launched a sales course called The Proven Roadmap Process to Selling Millions of Dollars and helping you to increase your conversions guaranteed. And you can get access to this new sales course that the Happy Hustle is launching at thehappyhustle.com/sales. And if you act fast, you'll get it at the lowest price it'll ever be available, because we are launching it and we want to gain amazing testimonials and social proof to further share this knowledge. So if you act fast, you can get it at the lowest price it'll ever be. That's at thehappyhustle.com/sales. Now let's get back to this episode.
All right. And so now you've got a son. I'll tell you, my kids are 21 years old. And it is
Wow.
fascinating. I'm in business with both of them, which is
Really?
extraordinary. Yeah, if I'd
Yeah.
known that that was going to happen, because when I wanted a baby back then, I just wanted a baby. I was after 9/11, I'd gone through some personal tragedy, and I needed a reason to be here, and I was 42, and I was blessed with twins. And
Wow.
then raising them for all of these years, but it's so funny because I raised them not as I was prior to them. I was an actress and a television host, and I had a very big career.
Mm-hmm.
I was on stage doing all kinds of things before I had them. And when I had them, by the time they wake up, they're about 10 years old. You got about 10 years where they think you're God, and they have no idea what you do, but they love you if you feed them. And
Yeah,
that's
right.
You feed me, mommy, I love you. And then about 10 or 12, my daughter woke up one day and she's like, who are you and what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
I'm like, excuse me? She's like, don't touch me. I'm like, oh, no. We hug and don't touch me, mom. I'm like, who took my kid? And then it was the next couple of years of evolution. And then they saw me as this entrepreneur who was doing what I was doing. And they both run companies now. And they're 21.
Wow. That's awesome.
So your child will be whatever environment you raise them in, however you speak to them. And this
Right.
is so important for every mom and dad to hear. If you talk about the lack that you don't have, we don't
Right.
have enough money for this, because I heard that growing up. As far as
Right.
I'm concerned, we never had money. I mean, my dad was in the hospital for 3 years, but it was never enough. And it really wasn't enough. So I came from a very broke mentality. And I will tell you, I carried that into my adult life. So even if I had money, I would go, I don't know, I'm broke. It's like, wow, interesting how you do that. How did your parents raise you?
Well, both of my parents were entrepreneurs. My dad owned a mechanic shop, and he was in the automotive parts business. And then my mom was actually a chiropractor. So I got to see firsthand how to run a business and, what it takes. So I'm very grateful for that. But, it was a very tumultuous relationship. They got divorced at an early age, a lot of mental, physical, emotional abuse. We actually moved 24 times before the age of 18. I had a lot of, issues growing up, was part of we don't have to go there, but I was doing things the wrong way.
Part of a what?
I was part of this white collar gang. I was like manufacturing a bunch of stuff I shouldn't be, AKA counterfeit stuff, and selling illegal items. And I was like hustling the wrong way, kind of going. And then I got arrested, went to jail, and then I'd like flipped and changed my whole journey.
Well, that's a fun part of the story.
Yeah.
Well, but because I preach and live that you're some of the obstacles you overcome.
Yeah.
So to me, it just makes you more of a well-rounded human to have gone through some things and come out the other side.
Yeah,
I think most
exactly.
often when we do interviews like this, or we meet people who we idolize or who have books or courses or celebrities, we think they have a perfect life.
Right.
I want us to know that it's not all that, and that you made some bad choices, but have come back around.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely made plenty of mistakes. And, it was a turning point for me to live in full integrity after doing things the wrong way, just being, a man I'm not proud of. And I realized after kind of getting locked up for a short stint, it changed my whole trajectory. And I was like, okay, I need to, operate in a different light. And now I'm very grateful to say that past is way behind me. And I'm happy to kind of inspire through the story. Because I do agree with you. Like a lot of people, they manufacture this facade of it's all peaches and cream, and it ain't.
What does the word hustle mean to you?
Doing whatever it takes to achieve your dream reality.
How do you know what that is and not burn out doing it?
Well, I think you have to start with the goal in mind. So create and define what success actually looks like for you, and then reverse engineer how to get there.
Okay, that's interesting. So what does success look like for you?
Freedom, the 3 freedoms: creative, time, and financial freedom. I don't know why I went middle finger there last, but sorry about that.
Because it's the freedom.
Freedom. Yeah. No, but the three freedoms is success, in my opinion. And I think many people can resonate, and I know plenty of wealthy people who have financial freedom, but they don't have time freedom, or artists who have creative freedom but don't have financial freedom. So it's the jackpot of all three is the success to me.
Okay, so when you're lacking in one, what do we do? Do we come read your book? Do we take a training with you? Do we sit and meditate in Thailand? What do we do?
Well, what most of our clients do is they come to Montana and we do a backpacking trip into the wilderness for 5 days and completely off the grid. We take their phones, no service, and we hike in 10 miles where the grizzly bears are and mountain lion and wolves and moose. And we do a digital detox. We sit around the campfire and we mastermind personally and professionally what's working and what's not. In addition, we teach them survival skills and fly fishing and meditation and breath work. And it's this complete reset that I haven't seen transformation in any other scope come close. And guys leave completely changed. And so that's kind of one of our signature mastermind events that changes trajectories.
So people go through that. Do you follow up with them like the following year to see how it panned out for them?
Well, typically they join our Happy Hustle Club. It's our $25,000 a year program. And we meet biweekly digitally. And then we have 5 in-person masterminds throughout the year.
Okay. So, it's funny. You are still hustling and you're still doing it, but you're doing it on your terms, right?
But this doesn't feel like work. I mean, sometimes I feel like, wow, I get paid to go camping. I do that for free. Don't tell anybody.
Oh, that's really funny. How do you promote what you do?
Well, it was organic. I mean, referrals was our bread and butter, and we just turned on paid ads this last summer, and we got $5 ROAS. So it was pretty ridiculous. Yeah, for every $1 in, we get $5 back. It's still a license to print money. So obviously, we got a winner, and we're gonna do everything in our power not to overscale it to the point where it feels like work for me.
Wow. What's your hope for the future?
We're actually breaking into the B2B market. Come 2025, we're going to take the Happy Hustle corporate and infuse our system, our soul mapping system into companies to increase employee engagement, happiness, and thus productivity. Because right now it feels like it feels selfish to only serve entrepreneurs when I know 3 out of 4 employees are said to be disengaged and unhappy, according to Gallup State of the Global Workplace study. So that's our next step in the professional realm.
Give me a little blueprint for that. I got a couple of minutes here. Somebody who's also got a program that wants to go corporate. What have you learned? What are you focusing on? How are you doing it?
Yeah, so we're doing a half-day workshop to get our foot in the door. So we come in, we train them on the Happy Hustle, the ethos. We actually put them through an assessment to show them how much they're lacking and how much productivity is essentially not, or the lack of productivity for their employees. And then once they know the problem, then we can sell them a solution, which is a 90-day implementation program where we come in with our trainers. We infuse the system. It'll be SaaS, so software as a service. As in addition to a couple other key components, we have a whiteboard fridge magnet that's analog that goes on their refrigerator so the employees can track their 10 different areas of life and to make sure they're happy hustling every day with these 10 daily disciplines. And then we track that back to ROI. So after the 90 days, hopefully, their company is super stoked and sees amazing results. And then we sell them a licensing program for the continuation. And then at the year mark, they become a Happy Hustle certified company.
Wow, what an interesting business plan. You're quite smart, Mr. Cary Jack.
Thank
What
you.
happened to your brother that you were sleeping in a king size bed with?
He's a stud. He's part of the United Nations speakers. He's works with the Fortune 100, brokering sustainable deals. He has a company called Eco Breakthroughs that I sit on the board and am a part of as an investor. And he basically brokers these deals with sustainable companies and then companies that want to become more sustainable, such as Johnson and Johnson. They want to, use 4Ocean, one of his marquee clients who's cleaning up the ocean. They pulled over 40 million pounds of plastic. And so he's basically brokering these key deals to help these large companies become more green.
Wow. What your parents very proud of you guys?
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, my dad doesn't talk about it. He's still a hard-nosed man. We call him a dictator, emphasis on the dick part. But, my mom's proud of us.
Well, we're proud of you too. So there you go. All
Hey,
right.
thank
So
you.
final thoughts. You got an entrepreneur who's stressed out. Do you deal with women as well? It sounds like kind of a bro thing.
It's male only in our mastermind in our Happy Hustle Club program, but
So I'm going
we
to do the
serve a
happy,
lot of women.
right?
What?
I'm going to do the happy hooker girl side of this.
Yeah, there you go. We'll talk a collab off the air.
There you go. That's actually kind of funny. So I'm sorry. Go back to somebody's burning out right now. They've just kind of tuned in, and you've gone from burnout techie guy to wilderness wonder guy who's also running a successful company. What do you suggest for them? 30 seconds. Go.
Yeah, I first suggest take the assessment. In order to grow, you need to know like where you're lacking in these 10 key areas of life. And then once you know, then you can prioritize change accordingly. And I think oftentimes we don't know where we are lacking in our life. So I think first and foremost, start with the assessment. It's in
All
the
right, so how do we
book.
get the assessment? Tell us where we go.
Yeah, thehappyhustle.com. You can get it there. Yeah, thehappyhustle.com. You can get the book there. You can get everything there.
Happyhustle.com. We're going to find Mr. Cary Jack. This has been so wonderful spending time with you. And I'm excited to see where this relationship goes. All
Yeah.
right.
Much
Happy
love. God
Hustle.com.
bless.